I'm standing on Leros, a Greek island in the eastern Mediterranean. When talking about Greek islands, you might expect buildings with white walls and blue domes, curving streets, maybe an orthodox church and an old ancient ruin. You can find all that on Leros, just not here. Because behind me is the town of Laki. And this is a town of neoclassical facades, of straight streets, not typical Greek, you might say. That's because it isn't Greek at all. At the turn of the previous century, all Greek islands were part of the crumbling Ottoman Empire. And the Italians, they wanted to expand their borders. They wanted to become an international colonial empire, because that was all the rage with all the other European countries. So after a war with the Ottomans, the Italians landed on Leros in 1913. Why did they choose Leros? Well, because here at Laki you have one of the most accessible, deep and wide natural ports in the eastern Mediterranean. Perfect for a naval base. To house all the military personnel, an entire town was planned, developed and built. It could house 8,000 people. And the Italians, they called it Porto Lago. The architects built with rationalismus. This is sort of Art Deco, neoclassical style that the Italian fascists really liked. So if you walk through the town, you can find a church, a bell tower and a cinema in a style you can't really find anywhere else in Greece. The city grid was composed of a butterfly shape with mostly straight lanes and was supposed to be very harmonious. And so, in one of the oldest countries of the world, you can find this modernist 20th century utopia. It's one of the very few examples of rationalismus that can be found outside of Italy. For Mussolini, having a Greek naval base and influence wasn't enough. He wanted to build a new Roman Empire, with land and citizens. So he tried to kill off Greek culture. He closed Greek schools and also made Italian language learning compulsory. There's even a house dedicated and built exclusively for Mussolini, but he never visited. The Italianization campaign didn't work out in the end. The Italian Empire just wasn't around long enough. And after the Second World War, all the Greek islands, including Leros, went back to being part of the rest of Greece. And they tried very hard to forget this period of Italian occupation. And so the town and its buildings were neglected and deteriorated. At this time, about 2,000 people live in Laki. And in recent years, there has been some interest to renovate these special buildings. With the passing of time, the city is also seen as separated from the fascist ideology that erected the buildings. The town is viewed as what it also is, a completely unique city, nowhere to be found anywhere on the Greek archipelago. And that's something worth preserving.